Okay, so we're going to start today with a review of problems like this. We have the triangle angle sum theorem with an algebra problem involved. So we want to make sure we have our calculators ready. And the first thing we do is check our three angles. There we go, 1, 2, 3. Those three angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So we write x plus 52 plus 90 plus 50 equals 180. Next, in solving, I want to combine these like terms. So 50 plus 52 plus 90 is going to give us 192. So x plus 192 equals 180. At this point, to get x by itself, we subtract 192 from both sides. So 180 minus 192 is going to give us a negative 12. Please remember, it is okay to have negative answers when solving for variables, because if we plug negative 12 back into here, we end up getting the answer of 40. And there is nothing wrong with having a 40-degree angle. Oops. Now we're going to be moving on to problems like this. These are a little bit more complex. They still just deal with triangles with the angles adding up to 180, but now it takes multiple steps. So things to pay attention to. First off, down here we have a 90-degree angle. That's what that mark means. We have a 90-degree angle. And notice that that angle, that 90-degree angle, has part of it sitting over here in one triangle, and the other part of it is sitting over here in the other triangle. So that means that those two angles are going to add up to 90 degrees. So what we're going to want to do is first look at this triangle. Looking at that triangle, notice that we are missing this value, which I'm going to write as x. We're missing that value. So let's first solve for x. That means x plus 48 plus 74 equals 180. So again, just like before, combine your like terms. And so 48 plus 74 is going to give us 122. So x plus 122 equals 180. To solve for x, we subtract 122 from both sides. And so x is going to equal 58. So that means, and I'm going to go ahead and erase this down here. We don't need that to be an x anymore. We know that that is now 58 degrees. Okay, well here's the trick. Right here, those two angles add up to 90 degrees. So I'm going to call this angle y. And I know now that y plus 58 equals 90. Again, where did that come from? Right there. Those two angles add up to 90, so I write that equation. Now, I can go ahead and subtract 58 from both sides. So then y equals 32. All right, so I'm going to do a little erasing here. You don't need that anymore. I'll get rid of this. Okay, we now know that this is a 32-degree angle. All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. So now we can go ahead and take a look at this triangle here. This triangle finally holds the angle we're trying to solve for. All right, we're trying to solve for that question mark up there. We know the other two angles, so we can write question mark. Oops, I should probably do that in black. There we go. Question mark plus 84 plus 32 equals 180. And going through, combining like terms, 84 plus 32 gives me 116. So that question mark plus 116 is 180. we want to subtract 116 from both sides. Therefore, our missing angle, the question mark, 180 minus 116 gives us 64 degrees. Now, remember, I've told you before that I didn't like having the question mark there. So you could have changed the question marks here to x's, but sadly I already used x earlier in this. You could have made it z's, you could have made it p's, you could have made it any other variable you wanted, but I would not have two different x's in one problem. Let's look at one more example. In this example, we are again trying to find that question mark. And let's just go ahead and start by calling that x. That way we don't have that problem we had in the last example. So that guy is x. That's what we're solving for. So, looking at the diagram, I have two different triangles. And notice that in this first triangle up here, I know two of its angles. That means I can solve for that third angle. And I already used x, so let's call this y. So calling that y. So solving for y, I can go ahead and take y plus 20 plus 55 equals 180. Because remember, those three angles add up to 180 degrees. So that means y plus 75 equals 180. Subtract 75 from both sides, and y is going to equal 105. Okay, so this angle here is going to be 105. Okay, well, what I want you to notice here is that we actually have a straight line here and a straight line here that are intersecting to form vertical angles. So those two angles are the same measurement, making this 105 degrees as well. That then gives us a way to solve for x, because now I want to use this triangle. We know two of its angles, so I can say that x plus 105 plus 45 equals 180. Combining my like terms, I get x plus 150 equals 180. And like always, if I want to subtract that 150 from both sides, I find out that x equals 30. And that is our final answer. So problems like this, they take a couple extra steps, but again, the key thing here is that the three interior angles of our triangles add up to 180 degrees. Please make sure you are using good algebra notation to help yourself follow your work through as you go. Give them a shot.